Hi, guys. Your book today is Double Trouble in Walla Walla. It's a good tongue twister book. It is by Andrew Clements, and all the illustrations are done by Salvatore Murdacca. It was an ordinary Monday morning in Walla Walla until Lulu raised her hand in class. Mrs. Bell, I feel like a nitwit. My homework is all higgledy-piggledy, and last night it was in tip-top shape, but now it's a big mishmash. Mrs. Bell said, nitwit, higgledy-piggledy, mishmash. Lulu, stop that flip-flop chitter-chatter or you'll be in double trouble. Well, Lulu said, but I'm not trying to flip-flop chit-chat. I just have an itty-bitty problem with my homework. Mrs. Bell scowled. All right for you, Lulu. If you're going to shilly-shally and dilly-dally with all this fancy-schmancy yak-yak, then we'll just have to trot down to the principal's office. Ooh. All her classmates, hee, yak, my, blah, blah, looky, shh, come. Mrs. Bell hurried Lulu down the hall and they burst into the principal's office. Mr. Thomas said, what's all the hubbub about? And Mrs. Bell said, well, Lulu's been trying to razzle-dazzle me with some kind of lippity-loppity jibber-jabber, and now I'm all helter-skelter myself. Mr. Thomas raised his eyebrows. Tut, sounds like silly willy hocus-pocus to me. Mrs. Bell's mouth dropped open. She pointed to the principal and said, Ika Freaka! Lulu's got your tongue all topsy-turvy too! Now don't get the jim jams, Mrs. Bell. Let's give the nurse a yoo-hoo. Mr. Thomas picked up his phone and said, Mrs. Carter, I'm going to pitter-patter over to your office. Okie dokie? Chip-chop, flim-flam, wowie-zowie, jeepers creepers. All three went across the hall to the nurse's office. Mr. Thomas said, howdy doody, Mrs. Carter. We're a little wacko. Lulu's got us talking this sing-song claptrap like we're cuckoo. Mrs. Carter smiled at Lulu and said, fiddle faddle. Lulu and I are palsy-wowsies. She wouldn't try that kind of phony baloney tutti-frutti flim-flam. Lulu and her teacher and the principal stared at the nurse. Lulu said, wowie-zowie. Mrs. Bell said, jeepers creepers. And Mr. Thomas said, holy moly, you're in the same hodgepodge we are. I better give the superintendent a jingle-jangle chop-chop. You can see here, ding-dang, tick-tock, ding-a-ling, chit-chat, yak-yak, mongo-mongo, herky-jerky, mumbo-jumbo, nitty-gritty. Wait one ding-dang tick-tock, shouted the nurse. If you chit-chat with a bigwig, then he'll yak-yak like Lulu too. If we're not very, very hush-hush about this, there could be a mongo-mongo brain drain, and everybody in Walla Walla will be talking like a herky-jerky ding-a-ling. Then the nurse turned to Lulu. Lulu, let's get to the nitty-gritty. When did all this mumbo-jumbo start? Lulu gulped. She said, in English class, I had an itsy-bitsy problem with my homework, and then zip-zap, Mrs. Bell said talking like this was a no-no. The nurse looked over the top of her glasses at Lulu. Something like this would not just happen willy-nilly. Now, Lulu, think extra hard and tell me what you did yesterday. Well, said Lulu, it was really a humdrum day. I was practicing ballet in my tutu, and my little brother Bobo asked me to play on the teeter-totter. We seesawed until Bobo slipped off and got a boo-boo and started to boo-hoo. Mama and Papa came running pell-mell, so I went inside and splish-splashed in the rub-a-dub tub, and then hip-topped into my cuddly-wuddy Betty. I said nighty-night to Mama and Papa and Bobo and fell asleep in a snip-snap. That's all I did, honest. You can see, arf-arf, meow-meow, Bobo, boo-boo, wah. Mrs. Carter said, Lulu, it seems to me that you've opened up a knock'em sock'em wibble wobble word warp. A knock'em sock'em wibble wobble word warp. A knock'em sock'em wibble wobble word warp. I usually don't believe in this kind of hoodoo bunko junko, but if it was going to happen anywhere, it would probably happen right here in Walla Walla. Mrs. Bell said, let's not quibble-quabble, Mrs. Carter. I'm getting the heebie-jeebies from all this razzmatazz. What can we do? Hey, let's do-si-do. Lulu, let's get this harem-scarum show on the road. We should say all the rootin'-tootin', crinkum-crankum, woolly-bully words we can think of. Maybe that will clear the air and close the warp. Worth a try, asked Nurse Carter. Mr. Thomas said, hey. Mrs. Bell said, let's do-si-do. And Lulu said, uh-huh. Nurse Carter closed the door to her office. Then she turned around and said, Lulu, let's get this harem-scarum show on the road. Oh boy, Can you see all those? Here, let's go here first. Lulu stood right up and blurted out, ticky-tacky, knick-knack, coochie-coochie-coo, hubba-hubba, roger-dodger, ooey-gooey-goo. Mrs. Carter cleared her throat and said, hugger-mugger, hobnob, pitter-patter, bon-bon, wishy-washy, squish-squash, handy-dandy, mishmash. Mr. Thomas closed his eyes and started slowly, but picked up speed. Eensy-beensy, choo-choo, teeny-tiny, hurdy-gurdy, roly-poly, ragtag, hurly-burly, riff-raff, rumble-tumble, hip-hop, teeny-weeny, pop-top, namby-pamby, hipty-dipty, hoity-toity, hotshot. And then Mrs. Bell stood up and took a deep breath. Putt-putt, vroom-vroom, Hong-Kong, zoom-zoom, zigzag, clank-clank, sam-blam, fender-bender, ring-a-ding, cling-cling, ring-a-ding, boing-boing, ring-a-ling, zing-zing, bing-bang-boom, never-never, wig-tom, turkey-lurkey, tom-tom, tootsie-wootsie, tittle-tattle, tee-hee-hee. I think we did it. We had to do it. Oh, no. And then, without warning, words flooded the air. Fuzzy wuzzy fuddy duddy loosey goosey lovey dovey kissy kissy huggy duggy rinky dinka doo gaga rah rah go go so so fro fro goo goo poo poo woo woo rinky dinky arf arf argy bargy woof woof boogie woogie bow wow super duper booper scrippity clippity clappity hippity hoppity clickety clackety rickety rackety blah 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 ha 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 clip clop drip drop click clack rick rack eager beaver lucky ducky comfy duffy fat cat hee ha tweet tweet chirp chirp cheep cheep cluck cluck quack quack yuck yuck yuck. Woohoo! That had to do it, right? Oh no. Oh no. Bozo, yo-yo, heyday, mayday, hokey pokey, hanky panky, goody goody, yum 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 yummy tum tum, gimme gimme, gobble gobble, jelly belly, dum dum, boo boo, boob tube, boo boo, boo boo, cling clang, yin yang, ching ching, wing ding, pow wow, cow tail, plague day, jet set, shoulda coulda woulda better, hot hot, ship shape, some tum, baggy breaky doodad, fi my bye, rag bag, tie dye, beep beep, ho ho, pop ha do do, roota toot toot toot, licky licky loki, uncle Georgie Borgie, hunga bunga, henny penny, humpty dumpty, yeah. And then suddenly silence. Lulu, Mrs. Bell, and Mr. Thomas slumped into chairs, and Mrs. Carter flopped onto the cot against the wall. Was it over? No one dared to speak. Lulu whispered, Mrs. Carter, may I please have a drink of water? Mrs. Carter sat up and said, okay, of course you may, dear. And Mrs. Bell smiled weakly at the principal and said, you were magnificent, sir. Mr. Thomas perked up and smiled at everyone. He straightened his tie and said, I think we've done it, people. Mrs. Carter sat down at her desk and went back to checking over her posture records. Mr. Thomas walked across the hall to his office and went back to the letter he was writing. Lulu followed Mrs. Bell down the hallway and soon had her English homework all straightened out. And after English, it was just an ordinary Monday in Walla Walla. Or was it? Ta-ta, Lulu. Bye-bye, Mrs. Ding-a-ling. Woo! It's been double trouble in Walla Walla. Stay healthy, stay safe, keep reading.
I did it!